if you've been waiting to take control of your blood sugar, then 2026 is your year, because last year the CGM market really exploded, and the old status quo of continuous glucose monitoring was completely disrupted. You know, we have more choices, we have longer wearing sensors, we have some good prices, but we also have a lot of marketing noise. So today I want to cut through the hype and give you a technical breakdown on what continuous glucose monitors are available to you in 2026. And so you can stop guessing and just start hacking your blood sugar with the right data. So my name is Karen Kennedy, and I'm a functional nutritionist. I specialize in helping people use continuous glucose monitors to hack their blood sugar, you know, improve your type 2 diabetes or prediabetes and get control of your blood sugar. And I'm also the author of the book, Hack Your Blood Sugar, which is like the user manual that really should come with these things. And remember to hit subscribe if you like this content. So we're not just looking for flashy apps today. We are looking to buy sensors, use the free apps they come with, as well as looking at the cost, the availability, and importantly, the suitability of these to your specific needs. And so for those of us trying to reverse type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, a CGM isn't just a gadget, it's a diagnostic tool that you have, so it can tell you exactly what lifestyle strategies are going to move the needle for you. And by the end of this video, and it's a little bit longer so I can tell you everything about all your options, by the end of this video, you'll have a clear decision on which one goes in your arm, okay? So before I tell you about the sensors though, you need to ask yourself 4 questions, and that's going to help you decide which is going to be the right tool for you. So question number 1. Do you need alarms? Do you need alarms to alert you of high blood sugar or dangerous low hypoglycemia? Because if you do, that's going to be a prescription CGM. Prescription. Okay, number 2, will your provider write your prescription? Will your doctor write your prescription? Because if the answer is absolutely no, or you don't have someone who will write your prescription, then you definitely are going to go for an over-the-counter or OTC CGM. Number 3, will your insurance cover it? Because some of you might know, oh, my insurance will absolutely cover all the costs of this. And if that's the case, definitely use a prescription CGM that your insurance will cover. It'll save you a ton of money. And then 4, do you have a compatible smartphone? Because if you don't have a compatible smartphone, or for whatever reason you don't want your continuous glucose monitor on the cloud, then you've got to use a prescription one because they come with separate readers. Okay, so answer those questions for yourself, even if you have to pause this video. And now let's go to the 4 different CGM brands, continuous glucose monitor brands, available in the US market right now in 2026. Ready? Let's start with the prescription models. Prescription means you have to have a prescription from your doctor to get it. You don't need insurance coverage. You can buy them cash, but you have to have a prescription. And those 2 are Dexcom's G7, and the Freestyle Libre does a Freestyle Libre 2+ and 3+. I mostly talk about the 3+ because it's the newer one, it's the smaller one, you don't have to scan. So really I like to think of the G7 from Dexcom and the 3+ from Freestyle Libre. Both of these are great products. They both work great. They use the same kind of technology, but here are the main differences. The Dexcom G7 will be a little more expensive if you pay cash. But the Dexcom G7 can be calibrated with a finger stick, and the Freestyle Libre comes factory calibrated. You don't have to, and you can't calibrate that. Some insurance providers will prefer one over the other if your insurance is covering it. And in terms of the Libre 3 and Libre 2 Plus, it's the Plus models now, they're similar, but most people, including myself, I prefer the 3+ because it's smaller. It's like the size of 2 stacked pennies. The 2+ is the size of 2 stacked quarters, so it's bigger. I like the low profile of the 3+, and you don't have to scan the 3+. It automatically transmits to your phone. The other thing is cost. A lot of people are paying cash, so you get a prescription, and then you go to the pharmacy and you pay cash. The insurance doesn't cover it. And actually, the Freestyle Libre is the least expensive of the 2, and if done this way, it's the least expensive of all the CGMs. Because if you use the manufacturer's coupon from Freestyle Libre, and they all come with a free trial, it ends up being about $70, $75 per month. So that's for 2 15-day sensors. So that's your least expensive option, but you have to jump through the hoop of getting a prescription. So again, the prescription CGMs are best for people who need alarms, especially for low blood sugar. So if you're on an anti-diabetic medication, insulin or other, that can sometimes take it dangerously low, then you'll want that alarm for the extra safety. But you have to have a doctor's prescription, even if your insurance doesn't cover it. Remember, it's okay if your insurance doesn't cover it. You can pay cash if you're willing to. Okay, so let's talk about the over-the-counter continuous glucose monitors, or OTC CGMs. Over-the-counter just means you don't need a prescription. And in this case, you just go online to their websites, click order, pay with your credit card, or in some cases, your FSA, HSA card can be used. And they just ship it to you in a couple of days. It's as easy as that. Some of them you can just buy right off Amazon or their website. So the two brands that are available in the US right now they're made by the same companies. It's the Dexcom makes the G7. Their over-the-counter version is the Dexcom Stelo. And then Abbott, who makes the Libre, they make the Abbott Lingo. All right. I've reviewed both of these in an in-depth podcast I'll link to as well. But they're both good products. They're both good products. They work similarly, but here are the main differences. First, if you listen to my earlier podcast on this, there have been some changes. Both the Stelo and Lingo work on Apple phones and Android. So anybody can use them. You have to have a compatible smartphone. So you've got to check that first. In terms of their apps, they come with different apps than the prescription ones. I'll say that the Stelo app is pretty basic, which can be really nice. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles to learn. It's easy to get on and use. The Lingo has more features, which can be nice, but it's just more to get used to. And the Lingo comes with something called the Lingo count, which evaluates each of your meals. And some people like this. I find a lot of people not liking the count, but I can ignore it. Both of them allow you to log your meals and your food. So I think they're both really handy and easy to use. The biggest difference for me as a provider supporting people using these is that the Stelo allows you to share data with a provider, with somebody else, and the Lingo does not. You can download a data file from the Lingo, but I can take that, and I've created a little AI feature that allows me to take that and create a graph, but it doesn't download any of their notes. I don't find it particularly useful. So if you are wanting to work with someone like me and have them give you feedback on your data, you've got to use the Stelo right now. I think that feature might be coming with the Lingo, I'm told, but it's not there yet. And I should say that with both prescription models, the G7 and the Freestyle Libre, it's very easy to share data with people on those. So in terms of prices, I told you the cash prices of the Freestyle Libre. I know that one is $70, $75 a month if you use the coupon. The Dexcom G7 is more expensive. It's going to be a bit more expensive than that. And but with the over-the-counter, the Stelo will cost you $99 for 2 sensors, and you buy that in a pack of 2. So $99 per month, and they're 15 days. The Lingo is $89 for a month, so $89 for 2 15-day sensors, but you can buy a single sensor for $49. So very similar in price. And the other thing I will say is I talk to a lot of people using continuous glucose monitors, and I follow a lot of user chat boards. And there's always a question of reliability. People say, oh, that one's accurate, this one's not accurate. And I will tell you, after years of supporting this, they all have their issues. No matter which CGM you use, at some point, you're going to get a dud. At some point, you're going to get one that's running high or running low. They all use the same technology, and sometimes there's a tech issue. And sometimes there's user error. And speaking of user error, as many of you found, these sensors don't come with very detailed user manuals. They have a sheet that tells you what to do, and they tell you how to install it. But I see most people running into problems because they don't know how to use them properly. They don't know how to interpret the data. They don't understand the accuracy issues. And when you do, it makes a world of difference. And that is exactly who I've written a book for. I have written a book called Hack Your Blood Sugar, which is the ultimate user guide for the continuous glucose monitor, and help you use that to not only put it on, but also how to interpret your data, how to understand accuracy issues, and then how to use that in a system to create actionable strategies to actually improve your blood sugar. So I encourage you to check that out. You can go to my website or Amazon or wherever books are sold and check out Hack Your Blood Sugar. And I'll also share a detailed blog post, which I'll link to, that has all this information as well. Okay, so again, please remember to hit subscribe